Hey, what's up? Hope everybody's doing well. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while now. I really wanted to be able to help people out financially. Um, not by giving financial advice by any means, but not a financial professional. I'm not anything other than just a normal person that sort of tried, tried a bunch of things that have ultimately helped me get to where I'm at. So, um, what I'm going to go over today is really just a simple um, helping you develop sort of what you can control. So, giving you some ideas, giving you some things, introducing myself. So, for anyone that's in the chat, anyone that I've been pushing out to from Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, has pretty much been about friends and family mostly. And I've probably reached out to some people in the meantime. What I want to do is I'll give a quick introduction to myself. So I'm from Alabama, currently living in Hawaii, work out here. Graduated from University of Alabama and currently attending Georgia Tech to get a master's in cybersecurity. So as you can tell, I don't have any kind of educationally backed finance background, right? So as any financial expert, you'll probably see tons that education um, is more about financial education. So that's what I want the financial mirror to start. I want the financial mirror to give a simple, I guess, simplified version of financial education. So my background in financial, I guess P&L type of things is I've run two Best Buy stores, both of which were very well off in terms of finances. So P&L education is something that I'm familiar with. And I've been investing in the stock market for almost 10 years. So this is something that I want to be able to push out. I give you education about, and ultimately uh, give more reason behind this financial mirror thing that you've been seeing on social media, and now finally getting to live stream. So the best part about this is live stream. So if there's something that I do or something that you see that is something that you want to ask a question about, just pop it in the chat. Just let me know. So ultimately, this idea behind starting the financial mirror, it ultimately came from my desire to help others. So through work, through my military experience, through tried and true methods that I've tried and have failed and tried and succeeded with, I've helped others. And I will share one story. I do want to share one story, and I told him I was going to share about it. But recently, I have a guy that I work with. Once again, I'm no financial expert, but what I can do is I'm sure my parents are watching. I'm sure that they're supporting this as well. But there's one thing that they did was they were able to teach me as both being educated how to educate people. They taught me how to speak to people in an educational mindset, right? So my ability to, I guess, talk to people and help them understand is a positive thing that I've been able to pick up in my life. So with a gentleman at work that I work with here in Hawaii, he had just moved from Okinawa. He had just moved and was getting back on his feet. Big trip from Japan over to here, and he kept telling me at work, he was just like, "Hey man, I gotta figure something out. Like I'm just stagnant. Like I'm sitting here, not being able to save anything. I'm not being able to get ahead." And ultimately, what it boiled down to that he was just not paying himself. He was able to bring in the money, but he wasn't able to continue to pay himself month after month. So what ended up happening was that by talking to him and giving him a little bit of advice, once again, I'm no financial expert in terms of educational background type of stuff, but what I was able to do was just talk to him and give him some of the things that I had learned through wins and losses in the stock market. And he started investing in the stock market. Come October, I talked to him maybe a week ago. Come October, he will have been investing in the stock market for 1 year, and he has, I think he said his growth rate is over 100%. So, not to put his business out there in terms of how much money that is, but I mean, you can do the math. For, I mean, if you had $100 and you turned it into 200, or you had $5,000 and you turned it into 10,000, to grow your money at 100% annual return is phenomenal. There's nothing out there. There's no safe method that's going to return money at 100. So that's something that I want to talk about. I want to get to. We all struggle with certain parts of what we do and what we don't do with our money. All of us have certain aspects that we're good with, and there's certain aspects that I use the term vulnerable to, right? So vulnerable. I'll use a vulnerability of mine that I've recently been able to start on is my girlfriend brought up this huge aspect of my life where I just waste money, right? And the wasteful part is that I don't make enough things that can be done at home. And I'm sure her watching is laughing at that, but I don't do enough on, like, in terms of pizza dough or something like that, right? So I consider that now a waste of money, because I'm constantly spending money when I could just eat much cheaper rate, make that on my own. So I'm sure she's laughing about that. But it's great. It's great to have someone identify something that you're doing that you could change, and that's really what I want the financial mirror to drive. I want the financial mirror to drive change inside of your life. So if you've ever done anything in life, and someone has ever pointed a finger at you and told you you're doing it wrong or whatever, that's not what this is. I'm not here to tell you. Now, I will be honest with you. I will tell you things that that you may not want to hear, but the best part about this is that if you are completely honest with yourself, you can take it and you can grow from it. So I just want to be a third person that's just pointing out things in life that can help you, and you take those and you can run with them however you see fit. So if you see that you simply want to start a business, or you want to start investing, or start planning for retirement, or whatever, like, I just want to give you the tools to implement those in your life however you see fit. So the one thing that I need out of anyone that wants to take something from this stream is that you have to first be willing to make the change, right? So I can go over things, I can tell you things, but if you're not willing to change certain aspects of your life, we'll end up exactly where you're at. Say October the 4th, be exactly where you're at a year from now. I'll be an accountability partner. So if there's something that you need assistance with, or you need to say something, pop it in the chat, comment in the videos. The videos will be uploaded to YouTube and Facebook. I intended originally on streaming this to Facebook and to YouTube. However, because of an affiliation agreement with Twitch, for me to be an affiliate, I'm not allowed to do that. So come tomorrow, I'll upload this whole thing to YouTube and to Facebook, and hopefully that'll give another avenue for people to be able to watch this. So this desire, this passion that I have, I'm hoping that it comes out, that we're able to go through everything. I'm going to do a new topic every week. What I want to drive this whole entire stream is I want it to be driven by real life examples. So I'm going to ultimately, I want to listen. I want to hear problems that people are having, and I want that type of subject to be driven throughout this podcast. The term financial mirror. So this title. I just want to give a background of the title. This financial mirror title is that the only thing, and it comes back to the title of this stream, control what you can control. So the financial mirror is that if you take a look at yourself, that's the one thing and the only thing that you can do in your life that's going to drive financial success. So The best part about it is if you are not well off financially, or you don't think you're well off, you're probably more well off than you think. But if you feel like you're not well off financially, um, the best thing to do is to not look around you at your surroundings make an impact on your life to change. So, uh, statistically, and I looked all these statistics up because I was curious. Statistically, people that they get pay increases, they end up right where they are later on down the road. We've all heard that. But the thing is that if you are making $50,000, right, make $50,000 a year, and you have $5,000 in debt, so you your I get your ultimate the how much you're worth is, let's say $45,000, right? That's not, we're going to get into this a little bit later. I'm very general right now, but if you have that $5,000 in debt, and then you have someone else that makes $100,000, they have, let's say, $50,000 in debt. That person is just as financially sound as you are with a $50,000 income. So the idea that you're more well off or you're wealthier, the more money that you make, is completely backwards. So what we have to change, what we have to go after, is how your habits and what you're doing with your, and letting that drive your ability to make positive change in your life. So what I'm going to go over today, is we're going to look at this thing. So in a book with Robert Kiyosaki, he talks about the financial report card. So the book is called it's a guide to growing rich without cutting up your credit card. He's a big believer. So you'll hear like, I'm not gonna talk. I love a lot of the financial experts that are out there. So I'm not going to talk about them in a negative light whatsoever. But a lot of people are going to tell you, cut up your credit card. Cut up your credit card. You want to move forward in your life, right? Cut up your credit cards. That's how you do it. That's not really the root of the problem. There's many of people out there, myself included, that use credit cards, but have learned the ability to be responsible with those credit cards. So Robert Kiyosaki talks in his book about how financial education is key to ultimately financial freedom, financial success, those type of things, that buzzwords that get thrown. So what we want to do with the financial mirror is we want to develop that, give that financial education to develop your life in a way that you can be in control of your finances. Dave Ramsey used a quote that says, and he got it from someone else, and I can't recall who he got it from, but he said that budgeting your money is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. So he uses that over and over again, telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. And that's a big thing because we're going to go over budgeting. So budgeting is going to be next week. So next Sunday, we're going to go over budgeting, and I'm going to go over a couple of programs, a couple ways to budget. But ultimately, you've got to get in control of your finances. You have to know where your money's going. You have to know these things because that's the only way that you're going to be able to. It has nothing to do with how much money you make. Now, if you're in extreme debt, or you have these aspirations to get to a certain spot where you need capital to do that, the only thing that less annual income is going to do is make it a little bit of a longer process, right? But the key is to just change everything that you can change, and you'll get to where you want to be. So based off this whole entire idea, everything I've said is about changing yourself, and that's the mirror part of the title. But the big thing is that you're going to constantly try to tell yourself, right? You're going to tell yourself that you don't have time, you don't have money, you don't have knowledge, you don't have all these things. But ultimately, what we're going to attack, what we're going to get after throughout this whole entire thing, and I plan on this going for a while. I plan on this going for some time. because I really do want to reach out and help others. I really do want to reach out and be able to see positive light. So success stories come with me. But the best thing is to be true to yourself throughout this whole thing. Be true to yourself. Know that you're gonna be able to make change. You're gonna make the change you need. But take that knowledge and apply it today. Apply it tomorrow. Apply it today. You have the time. You have the ability. Apply it today. So before we get started, a couple of the topics that you expect out of the finance is we're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about wealth. We're going to talk about the ability to manage that money. Covering spending habits, covering retirement, covering investments, covering setting all these things up so that you are financially ready for whatever situation gets thrown at you. But the one thing that I can give you is that honesty is what I'm going to give. So what I need back is just honesty. Self, be honest with yourself, because the best part about it is that if you are honest with yourself, if you are able to make these changes, you will be happier in the long run. So when these things happen, when you tell yourself, or when these changes creep up on you and you say, well, I can't do it, I can't do whatever, just know that every time that you fail at whatever it is that you need, or that you've got going on in your life, anytime that something, like let's say you set a budget and you fail to uphold that budget, don't tell yourself, don't try to convince yourself that it's something else, that it's anything other than that you failed to do, right? Because that is if you do try to convince yourself otherwise, all you're doing is missing out on a perfect learning opportunity. So when those things happen, take that and analyze it. See what you could have done differently, that you could have upheld that budget. You didn't have to spend that. Didn't. What else could you have done to not have prevented? One we'll cover is how many times that this huge financial obligation comes about, and you have to dig out of your emergency fund. You have to dig out of that safety net that you created to get yourself out of that. What else could you have done? Pay that obligation, whatever it is, whether it's bargain fixed or medical bill or whatever. What else could you have? So what I'm going to go over today is financial report card. So like I said, Robert Kiyosaki started or talked about this. He pretty much said that no banker, his quote says, like, no banker is ever going to ask, so if he's buying real estate, no banker is going to ask him what his report card looked like when he was in college or high school or whatever. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what your grades look like when you were in school, right? If you're going to actually do things that are driven by money. So what he's stating is that you've got to develop your financial report so that you know what your financial situation looks like. So what I'm going to pull up is I'm just going to show you. So this is I did a little bit of research on this beforehand, right? To see what I could come up with in terms of some ideas. So there's tons of things out there that can simply give you a overview of what your financial picture looks like. So the best place to start, so the one that I use personally, so I bank with USAA. So USAA has a financial readiness score. So they provide you a score based off of how much liquid money you have. Liquid money is just anything that is immediately accessible. So liquid money that you have, the liabilities that you have, so loans, whether it be they take into account mortgage, take into account car loans, they take into account all this stuff. So anything that you have that not that it's taking away. So that total liquid money minus whatever it is that's taking money out of your pocket. So anything that's taking money out of your income, they subtract that. And then what they take into account is how ready you are for retirement, how ready you are for all these things, right? And then they roll that into a single financial score, and then you can monitor that score. So if you treat it just like you did a report card in school, you can see that your financial readiness score is going up or going down. So obviously the goal is to get perfect financial readiness score. USAA is just one. So bank with USAA, I would tell you they have a really good system in place. But if you don't, the easiest thing to do is, and like I said, we'll do this. This is all live. So financial readiness score. We'll see what pops up. Like I said, I did look into this a little bit ahead of time. So I've got a couple. Boom, right there. USAA financial readiness score. This is the first one that pops up. But this pretty much is this whole entire thing. So it gives you, it's on a grading scale just like a school grading scale out of 100. Everything's out of 100. And then take their little assessment. You go through their questions, and then ultimately in the end it gives you your financial readiness score. So this is a huge value added when you can use these tools. So I tell you, first place to look is to go over to your bank, no matter who you bank with. Just see, most banks, I'm guessing, I'm assuming that most banks would have some kind of finance. So go start off at your. I put in financial readiness score. Or that showed up. This is what I meant to search, by the way. Financial readiness score, that's one. But any bank, go look up your bank, go look up what's out there for you, and see what's out there, see what you can find. And I did a little research on this before jumping into it. But I wanted to see what kind of things I could find. So anytime you get around to doing, I challenge you to go. And I didn't talk about this before, so I'm just going to do it now. So every week, my goal with this stream, probably good I didn't bring it up because everyone can hop on. But every single week when I end the stream, what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a challenge. I'm going to provide this challenge so that no matter whatever the topic is, no matter where you are in your financial journey, I'm going to challenge you to do one thing, singular task, that if you can accomplish that for the next 7 days, hopefully you can start to build a habit. Sometimes this, like today's challenge is going to be to go out and find out what your financial looks like. That's going to be the challenge for today, and I'm going to repeat that at the end so he hops on afterwards. They know this week that challenge is to go find out what your financial report card looks like. But every week I'm going to bring up one, whatever the topic is, and I'm going to give tools necessary to go and accomplish whatever that challenge is. But after this year, if we're doing one challenge a week, we're improving that financial readiness score every single week by doing one. Not trying to attack everything, trying to pay off all your debt at one time, trying to do all these things, but we're attacking one, hoping that we can improve your report card. So this is one that I looked at beforehand. So the cool part about this is that he actually this Alan Kakinda, whatever his name is, from back in 2018, he actually utilizes this whole entire thing right here that you can see. He uses, this is from the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. Like I said, he also talks about this whole entire thing in the Guide to Becoming Rich Without Cutting Up a Credit Card. But this whole entire thing, right, is about how we can improve your your report card, right? So if you can improve this report card, you can improve your financial score. What it does, this isn't credit score, this is purely how you stand financially. um, ultimately, in the end, you will live a happier, better, more stress-free type of lifestyle, doing the things you want, getting the vacations, getting the always want. Uh, have to start now. You can't be waiting for retirement to pop up on you, ready for retirement. And that brings me to something else that I'm going to talk about, just because, like I said, this is live, right? So whatever we talk about, comes to my mind. When we're talking about retirement, and we'll get to I'm gonna have a segment on just retirement, but we talk about retirement and this financial readiness, this report card. Right? When we retirement specifically, we cannot and we should not be reliant on the government to support your retirement. So if we look at holistically how life is changed, how society has driven this change. If you look at your parents, if you look at your grandparents, look at a generation before, or pretty much what we are looking at right now, 30 to 40 age, even some of the 40 to 30 and younger, starting to see less jobs that are paying a pension upon retirement, right? So that's becoming more and more. So pension still exists with the government. So a lot of governmental jobs, such as school teachers, such as military, those jobs are still providing a pension-based retirement. What we have to move away from is now a lot of the retirements are based off of like 401k based retirement plan. So if you're not planning for your retirement at an early age, you're going to end up stuck later on in life, because as jobs are moving away from this pension based retirement, what they're pretty much doing is they're putting the onus on the individual. So if you as an individual don't take your retirement seriously, life that you're living right now with this income is going to be drastically changed come retirement, and it's not going to be, you can't. Everyone knows Social Security is not a first off, it's not enough to normally live on by itself unless you're in a great financial position. But if that's the case, you probably have some kind of retirement set up. But have to get away from the mindset of pension based retirements and more into the mindset of that charge of how I retire. So if you're ultimately planning on a normal 65-year retirement, 5 years old, you have to be in charge. It's not going to be the government that's going to help you get there. You've got to take it, because even I mean, speaking from the military standpoint, they are moving away from pension based retirement too. So they've come out with this blended retirement, right? So when we look at things like, I'm just bringing this up because you see blended retirement versus legacy. No, this is not a retirement course or this retirement segment that I wanted to show you. Like, this blended retirement setup is what you're going to see more and more of the. You're going to see more and more companies begin to look toward something like this pension, this defined pension that you needed. It's gonna move away. People are not gonna be paying pension in the future. I just don't see it. There's not. You have to be in charge of your retirement, because the as the pensions move away, that ability to work 20 years somewhere and end up with nothing is more real than ever. So that was total sidetrack, right? But this whole entire thing, this financial report card, this financial statement you're creating for yourself, it Robert Kiyosaki does a great job talking about it. So he constantly, here you go, exactly what I said, emphasizes your banker when ask for your school reports when considering you for any kind of credit or decision. So they're going to look at your financial. So this is this is what some of the things that financial statements. This guy does a great job rolling all this up. So this is what we have to focus on this week. So when you come up with your financial readiness statement or your financial report card or whatever, using one of these, I'm going to show you a couple that I found. But you got to find out what you're spending the most of your money on. We've got to change those things. So we've got to change the things that you're spending money on that is a total waste of money. You have to, and that's where you have to take onus on it. So you have to decide that what you're spending that money on is a total waste of money. When you think about big picture, you have to think further than just how much money I'm going to have at the end of the month. You have to think whatever fill in X salary is, right? Whatever you see, whatever your salary is, you can fill in your numbers for your. You have to look at that and you have to say that this is how much I'm making. Because until I'm going to show you a couple of charts that what you want to move towards, improve this financial rate. But you have to see what you are wasting your money on, and then go to number 2. So look right here at number 2, and then see what those spending habits are around those priorities. So what you're spending your money on the most, and what your spending habits are. So if your number one thing that you spend money on is your morning coffee, how often are you spending your money on morning coffee? If it's every single morning, and you do the math on that, whatever, you will see, you can look at that yourself, and then you can say, is this a waste of my money? Is this a waste of my time? The big thing that I don't smoke, right? I don't smoke, but I look at it and I always tell myself, I love smoking. If I absolutely love smoking, there's no way I could look at myself and say that I enjoy spending the money on the amount that cigarettes cost or whatever, how much money. So you have to be able to take, if your habit, which a habit doesn't have to be alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, it could simply be, like I said, your coffee. Your habit could be that I enjoy playing video games. My habit could be that I'm putting too much money or we'll get to it later, but too much time into video games. Then I have to see that already, my spending habit, how much I'm spending on. Today we're talking financially. How much financially I'm spending on that? Is it worth it? Do the math on that and see, is it worth it? And then we go down to your financial statement can tell you your investments. So you can look and see how much your investments do you have. So investments are going to be things that are ultimately going to be what you want to put your money into, expecting that to be your where your money is, your money source while you're working and after your work. And then whether you have a great future or you don't. Robert Kiyosaki talks about that specifically. That financial report card is important for you to get, see what your score is, see what you're doing. But go through this. This is a quick, like I said, I found this I Googled financial report card, and it's right here, medium.com. Went through this. This gives you a breakdown on it, and then it shows you that it's all based off of income, which is your money coming in, your expenses, money going out, and read the rest, assets, liabilities, and cash flow. So it does a great job breaking down. Robert Kiyosaki does a great job breaking down assets being he does a more broader term. So people want to look at good assets, good liabilities. People like in terms of liabilities, technically a home mortgage is a liability in a sense that it does take money out of your pocket, but it is an asset in a sense that you have a property that also generates money. That's also a thing that's put money back into. So you have to be able to distinguish those two, and then ultimately your cash flow. So cash flow is just going to be income. I wanted to go over this before we get into, I'm going to show you a couple of the financial report cards that I found. But this is sort of the breakdown. Let me pull this up so you can see exactly right here. So right here, this ultimately is going to be your income, right? So this is for example's sake, this over here, as you can see, is the poor and the middle class, and then on the right is going to be the rich. So with this, I sort of knocked it off right there, but you can see right here, for anyone that, and this includes myself, right? I'm a normal human being like everyone else. I work a job, I get paid a salary, have my set of expenses and liabilities and my assets, and they generate whatever's left over, generate income. So this whole side over here is where a majority, if not all, of the people watching right now are sitting. This is a huge majority of people that their income comes from a job, right? To move out of this, your income must begin to come from your assets. So, and here's your fine list. Go look this up if you're interested. But you have to move from this left side over to here. Your income must come from a list of assets. So this could be, like I said, it could be that you're a day trader and you trade stocks for a living. This could be that you have real estate, you have rental properties, you have commercial properties, or you have residential properties. You can see on the list right here, intellectual properties, some idea that you've come up with, that you've trademarked, that people are willing to pay for, that's generating your income. But ultimately, those you have to be able to move from a job creating income over to assets creating income. That's the ultimate goal of your financial report. Am I there? No. Is a majority of the people watching this there? Probably not. But that is the goal, and that's where we're walking through. That's where the financial mirror is supposed to help you. It will help you go through the little changes that need to happen in your life. This can be. I talk about it all the time, but I enjoy my job. I enjoy working. So it's going to be hard for me to give up a job, but that's a goal. That's a goal of mine. I have a plan that, and my plan is not have to work a job in terms of going and locking in somewhere to work, but ultimately to start a family and end up being able to just provide for that family and be able to spend in that sense. So I'm ultimately, this is my journey as well. So my journey is to get over here into this area so that I can end up being, this term rich. I don't consider rich from a financial aspect. I'm looking at rich in terms of being able to spend time. So that's where my development of rich would not financially rich. So that's where we want to get to, right? This chart is ultimately where we want to get to. But the key to doing it is financial education. So look through this. Like I said, Medium. I just search financial report card. Medium is the website that I use that. So this one, I found this one. I was looking up these financial reports, and this one actually probably is one of the better ones that I've seen. It's not. It doesn't ask you for anything in terms of your how much you have here, how much you have here. But it just simply asks you. It has two columns right here. This left column where you can see these X's, and this right column. So ultimately what this is doing is, on the left column, you are putting an X where something is applicable. So in this sense, I know how much money I spend on my monthly. Do you know how much you spend? If you do, this is applicable. Put an X there. If you don't, skip it. I know how much my income is each month. Applicable, yes or no, and go down. So go down this list. This is a simple yet effective financial report card to use. And then at the end, pretty much this is your calculation of it. But the obvious answer is 100%. You could use this, and I didn't add this up, but you could use this and you could add this up and see how many X's you need, how many you have, and try to see what you are at 100%. Ultimately, that's where you want to get to. That's where you want to get. So count all your X's, see what your score is. This is one example of. I'm just curious now. Gave a shout out to Leah over here. Gashon. That's the best I got. Leah Gashon. Professional. Let's have a. I don't know where she got that deal at, or maybe this is a course you have to pay for it. Oh, look, she's. So, I guess Galia, I don't know. I guess she has some kind of course. Sharon here got the rundown and then gave us the scoop financial report. Use this. Copy and paste this into Excel or whatever. Do math, figure it out in terms of what your financial report card looks like, and roll with it. So another one that I looked at was this Lincoln Financial one. So this one's a little bit more intuitive into how you can actually see where you stand in terms of others as of 2019. But you need to see what your readiness is, what your financial report card looks like right here. So going through saving for retirement, budgeting worksheet. So figuring out what your financial report. Another tool. So just and this is probably, like I said, another website that you may already use in financial. Federally, maybe companies that are using Lincoln Financial to do sort of things. Probably do retirement and stuff. But go through here, see what you can find, see what websites are out there that provide you a financial, then run with it. Anyways, that's the goal, and then figure out where you can make a change, and then run with that. So the basic things that's really what I wanted to work on covering, is helping everyone figure out what your ultimate net worth is. Financial. I don't really want to use the term net worth, right? Because you're going to see, if you look up net worth, you're going to see simple calculations that show that it's pretty much, they're going to base it off your assets. Your assets are going to include liquid cash, then minus your liability. It's going to be the calculation. They're going to say, as long as you have more money, and that can be stuff that's not liquid, or see a lot of calculations that'll take your car and add it in. Car it could be, it's like semi-liquid, but or if it's paid off, is semi-liquid in a sense that you could sell it and make money off of it, liquid cash. But tomorrow there could be a recall on Ford F-150s, and then all of a sudden what you thought was worth $30,000 is now worth $10,000. Not a really good example of what financial report card should look like. So use one of those examples that I found, or find your own. Like I said, there's many out there that give you that insight. See what you can find, and ultimately your goal has to continue to be around improvement. So the let's see what we have. So if you take the moment and take the moment, like I said, this is probably 10 minutes. Knocked it out. Screen's been up for a bit, but it probably took us 10 minutes to figure out some of the websites. So run through there, copy and paste. Look at yourself, see where you need change in your life in terms of spending. Spending is the number. You can't control. Job's gonna pay, but you can't control a lot of things. You can't control who your boss is. Any of things that are going to affect employment and how much you're making. But what you can control is how much you can take out of that and put towards those investments, put that future, put towards what you've got in the long run, what you've got to invest and what you have to pay into your. So I built this out. I built this little desktop. Stop procrastinating, so that I can look at this. I can see that for. I guess I'm a fine example because I've probably talked about doing something like financial mirror for a while now. Probably talked about how I've wanted to help others. How if I don't make a dime off of this, really am okay with that. I truthfully want to help people to enjoy life. So finances is like, let's see. I'm just curious now. I haven't looked this up because I was just gonna say finances is probably the top stressor in life. So let's look up top stressors in America. I only speak for America. Speak for top stressors. Stressed in America. Hey, look at this. Top stressors. Look at that. Money. Money continues to be the top stressor. So what I want to do with the financial is to attack that. What do we have? 2000. This is from 2010, but 4 years in a row it was the. I take that back. 2007 work was the top stressor, but probably could look out and find more relevant data. There's 2019 change from 10 to 20. Like I said, this is live stream, so this is all real deal stuff. So let's see what top stressor. Stress of staying. So it looks like when asked about their personal stressors, around 6 and 10 adults identify work and money. So there we go. So still top two. Still a top two stressor in people's life, and 4% with 6 out of 10 adults, 60% is decent in terms of, you put that type of statistic on all of America, you've got a pretty hefty statistic. So we can control that. We can control that as individuals. Technically, you know the honest truth, we can control both of these. So stressors, and these probably go hand in hand. People probably continue to identify work as a stressor because they're happy with them, or they're unhappy with their income, or they're unhappy with something. There's something about that job that normally get pushed right back. So these are, I mean, everywhere we look, money in that one, but normally you're going to see any kind of stressing being financially based a majority of the time. So stop procrastinating in a sense that if you're trying to change, if you're trying to wait for that next job, you're trying to wait for more, trying to wait something like that. Stop procrastinating in that. Start thinking about the things that you can physically control, the things that you are in charge of. So you're in charge of your spending, you're in charge of your sense, you're in charge of where your money's going. Like, you're not controlling those things yet. If you're not controlling those things yet, move your focus to those and start to see the improvements you're going to, because ultimately out your job, you need it. You need it. If I pulled back up that chart that we were, you need for you to go from the job to the income. You got to have the job, right? You got to have the job, the left side. You got to have that so that you can pay those expenses. So you've got to be able to show that got to have the job, start your financial readiness. Everything that happens after that, you're unhappy with your job, you're not making the changes to get out of that job, such as marketing yourself, adding a new, this is a great thing to bring up. So in the book with Robert Kiyosaki, this is another great thing that he talked about, and this in this whole segment, this whole financial segment, he talked about. He said most people are one skill away from making millions, making and millions is in terms of millions of dollars, but just in terms of boosting where their current position is. So he talked about this example with this, right? And just a long story short, this reporter had a master's in, had all these credentials, all these things, and Robert Kiyosaki just told her that she needed to sell her product. She was a great writer, but needed to sell her product. What he was getting at, just to just sum it up, is that you don't need, just because she was a great writer, she couldn't sell her products. When asked about it, he pointed out the fact that the top of his book said best-selling author. It didn't say best writer, it didn't say best journalist, best anything. It said best-selling author. So he is a salesman. That was the skill that she was struggling with getting off the ground, but the one skill she was missing, she was actually go read the book, Guide to Growing Rich, Guide to Grow Rich without putting up your credit cards. But take all of this that I've given you today, and see where you can apply that. Ultimately, it's up to you. It's up to, I can tell you these things, and you can hear me say it. Some of the stuff I've said, you've probably heard a million times. But there's a couple of things: finances and health in general. And I'm going to bunch health into nutrition, fitness, exercise. The two topics that people have a hard time being honest with themselves about. Two topics. Top two topics. Hardest to be honest with themselves. So if you see, so financial report card, what it's going to give you, it's going to give you the report card you got in school, showed you where you were at in terms of moving along year to year in your grades. If your goal is to lose weight, right? The scale at home is your report card. So you get on the scale once a month, whatever, and you see your progress, what you're doing. But why don't we do that same tracking, that management, monthly, weekly, daily, of what? But for financial, you know, it's a longer journey. It's a marathon. So you've got to track that quarterly, annually, ever. But you got to be doing something to see where if you're moving forward, or if you're stagnant. If you're just sitting there, you're not moving along, you're stuck, you're in a rut, and you're not moving forward financially. Not getting worse, but you need something to grow off of. say, this is my starting point. That one that had all the X's on it, whatever. So use that as a guide to say, I want to go find the easy target. I want to do this. Like one of them said, how much do you spend in a month? What are your expenses? You know them. How much money you bring in a month. If you don't know those are easy. Those are easy. Go up how much you're spending. We're gonna go over all this in budgeting next. Go add that up, because ultimately those are the type of things that you have to know to know financial. Do it today. Really, go out and do it today. Go out Sunday afternoon for some, Sunday night for some. Go out and do it today. Figure out where what's your financial, and control that. Take control of it. You didn't want to fail grade school. You didn't want to fail high school, college. Don't. You've got to attack finances just like every. Have to attack finance. Health the same way that job, the same way. All of those things. We saw one of the top stressors. We only saw the top, but one of the top stressors, and most people don't think of. Say, well, bank account says I have enough to buy it, so or have a credit card. I'll put it on the credit card. I'll pay that off. Realize they don't even have enough money to pay that off. Just tell themselves. You can't lie to yourself. Because as I stated earlier, and I hope everyone heard this, I'll say it again. If you do something financially, you tell yourself something, and you know it's a lie. Tell yourself long enough, you'll believe it. I promise you'll believe it. Keep telling yourself, you know it's a lie. Truly missing the opportunity to grow on it. Truly missing an opportunity. Truly missing an opportunity to change it. If you continue to lie to yourself about it. So take the time, grow from it. Know that you can do all this whole financial thing. Step through it every week. I want to go top of something. So step through it. See what you can change. See how you can change it, and go through it. Like I said, this is all going to be live every week. Next week is going to be completely budgeting. I want this week to be be more of an intro. I wanted you as an individual to go out and find what your financial readiness score was. I stated in the middle of the podcast, and I'll state it again. Every week, I'm going to give out a challenge. I'm going to give out a single thing for you to go do, or a single thing. At the end of 52 weeks, you have 52 things that you've done to improve your financial rate. Take them seriously, and you go out and do them. I promise you that at the end of this year, you will be in a better position than you were today. October the 4th, 2021, you will be in a better position. So today, challenge was and is to go out and establish that score now. Establish where you stand. Establish where you want to be at, and move forward in a sense of that you want to see change in your life. Move forward in a sense that you're going to see change, and I'm going to be right here to help walk through this whole thing. I'm going to give success stories. So if you get something from, please go share that on any of my social media that I've got: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or if you want to be more personal and you don't want to put it out there on any of the social media, please, at the bottom of my website, financialmirror.org, there's a contact box. Just hit contact, put in the information, and just hit send, and that'll go straight to Mike. Nobody will see that, but just go out and see what you can change today, and in this whole entire thing. I promise you, this 52 weeks this year, and I want this stream to go on for for as long as I can do it. As long as I can do this. I want this this week. Challenge you to go get that financial report card. And next week, like I said, we're going to go over budgeting. Till then, I appreciate everyone that came out to join, friends, family members that are helping support this. I truly appreciate it. I really do. Know that this is something that I've wanted to do. I've really wanted to do this. I haven't been able to do it for this term right here, for procrastinating. I've procrastinated starting this. I didn't know first off how I was going to do it, but this is where I'm at now. I'm going to run through this. As I stated before, all of these videos that I do for the Financial Mirror will be on YouTube and Facebook come tomorrow. Due to Twitch, I cannot live stream Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Even though I have the capability to, I'm not able to, or I could get kicked off of Twitch. Agreement with. So I have to upload these tomorrow. So I'll take the time out and do that tomorrow. I'll have everything uploaded. So if you do see something on here and you want to share this with someone, please share the YouTube, Facebook link, the Twitch. Stay on Twitch for 60 days, but YouTube and Facebook will have historical information for all the streams. Like I said, I appreciate you for coming out. I appreciate you for tuning in. And that's all I've got for today. Thanks.